After a year and a half of dating and many, many conversations about taking a trip to Disney World together, the day was finally here.
How excited for Disney World are you?
So excited!
Tim and I packed our bags and our snacks and made sure our road trip playlist was ready to go. We were on a 9-hour drive to Disney World, a 9-hour drive to happiness, and I didn't know it then, but we were on a 9-hour drive to the biggest but most easy decision I've ever had to make. On our first night there, we went to Hollywood Studios with Tim's brother and his family. On our way to the park, it started to rain. We pulled into the parking lot and drove through a puddle of water that could have come up to my knees if I were standing in it. So we sat in the parked car and waited for the rain to pass. 30 minutes later, it was still raining just as hard. A shuttle to the park pulled up and we decided to book it. In the few seconds it took us to run from our car to the shuttle, our clothes were completely drenched. But Disney World is so worth the rain. I wrung out what used to be neatly styled hair and tugged on my unflattering shirt that got much more unflattering with the rain, in hopes of looking somewhat normal. But it was no use. As we walked to the park, I looked at Tim and jokingly said, "Please don't propose to me today." He just ignored me and we made our way to the Rock and Roller Coaster. As a child, this was one of my favorite rides. As soon as you walk up to the entrance, you can see the giant guitar and hear the sounds of Aerosmith playing. The anticipation was killing me, but luckily the line was short, but even shorter with Brian's Fast Pass. The three of us wound through the roped-off line and got into the ride in no time. When we were about to board, Brian tells Tim that he wants to sit by me because Tim has gotten to be with me all day. I was so confused. First of all, I don't like Brian. Second of all, Tim likes Brian even less. Dirty looks were exchanged, and Tim said, "This is our first ride. Can I please sit with my girlfriend?" Brian sighed and then changed spots with him. We buckled our seatbelts and prepared for the ride. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Steven Tyler screamed, and then our car was shot through a dark tunnel so fast that our cheeks felt like they were flapping in the wind. Street signs, neon-colored lights, and musical instruments are the only things that you can see in the pitch black, and the sounds of happy screams are muffled with the voices of Steven Tyler and the rest of Aerosmith. I grabbed Tim's hand and squeezed, just as we looped upside down. An overwhelming happiness washed over me. It is hard to take a moment to think while you are being jerked around on a roller coaster, but I could not help but be so grateful and excited to finally be in Disney World. The ride started to slow, and we pulled back into the exit. We went downstairs to the gift shop, where the rest of Brian's family was, to look at our pictures. Tim insisted that we do this. I hate to look at them, though, because I always look so crazy and usually have a double chin. But we did it anyway. There were so many people around, and the screen was so small that it was hard to see the pictures. I looked at Tim and said, "Oh, cool," and then walked away. "Wait, let's go back and look at them over here," he said. So we made our way to the place where you could ask a cast member to see your pictures more closely. We waited there for what seemed like forever, and Brian was getting impatient. Tim turned away from me and whispered to Brian, "She didn't see it." Suddenly, I knew what was happening. I knew why Brian wanted to sit by me, and I knew why Tim ignored me when I told him not to propose today. It was all becoming clear. The lady finally showed us our pictures. Sure enough, I had a double chin. But in the back row of the ride, Brian was holding up a sign that said, "Landon, will you marry me?" I looked at Tim and said, "What?" And he was smiling so big. He got down on one knee and opened a velvet black box that encased the most perfect ring. The cast member showing us our picture said, "Am I really a part of this? Oh my gosh!" I'm not even sure I said yes, because it all happened so fast. But Tim knew. Everyone in the gift shop cheered, and my heart was pounding. I spent the next 30 minutes calling everyone I knew. The rest of the time at Disney World was like I imagined. We rode as many rides as we could, ate too much food, and stayed until the parks closed. It was truly a magical trip to the most happy place on earth.